What happened with Khamzat Chimaev?
I went up to Sarukian. I congratulated him. I went up to Khamzat. I said, "Hey, champ, what's up? When are we going to see you back?" He goes, "I don't know, brother. Whenever. Smash." All right, cool. Sweet. Slaps me on the back. I'm like, all right, cool.
This is Ian Garry.
That childish energy comes out. Yeah, fuck you, brother. Fuck you. Boom. Tries to push me.
Minutes before this interview, Garry got into an altercation with the UFC middleweight champion, Khamzat Chimaev.
Good job tonight. He's not going to fight me. He's good. He's a champion. Don't worry. What's wrong? Whoa.
What seemed to be a friendly greeting gesture from Garry riled up Chimaev to a point where he was ready to fight then and there. Users on the internet gathered behind Garry, as it seemed to be an irrational burst of anger from a fighter known for being intense. However, a new angle would later come out, showcasing that Garry had in fact been quite rough with Chimaev prior to the altercation.
Hey, they're just going to do a quick photo with our partners.
Whenever you're ready, always ready. Good job, team. Good job tonight.
Although fans switched their opinion with this new evidence, UFC fighters had already called out Garry before this new video angle. In fact, Ian Garry has a history of pissing off his fellow teammates and cutting ties.
So when I see this guy just continuously talking, I just don't like it.
There's only one fighter I don't like. Ian Garry, I can't stand it. He a bitch.
Ian Garry he said, Joaquin Buckley can barely speak English. He said.
Right. So the reason why he don't understand me is because I don't speak Cucanese.
This altercation with Chimaev wasn't just beef. It was a symptom of a much deeper, calculated strategy to gain internet attention. The number 2 welterweight contender is undeniably talented, so why does every fighter who gets close to him eventually want him gone? Dublin, Ireland, June of 2021. Ian Garry has just become the Cage Warriors welterweight champion, a European promotion known for being a feeder of fighting talent to the UFC, and coincidentally, the same organization Conor McGregor rose up from. He should be celebrating with Team KF, the gym in Ireland that turned him into the talented fighter he has become. But prior to gaining the championship, rumors spread that Team KF had some internal issues with Garry. On June 24th, Garry's interview with the regional MMA channel Severe MMA showed him first getting encountered with questions on these rumors.
With that said, I suppose this is a tough question, but it needs to be asked. There's been lots of rumors going around about you and the team possibly having left the team. What's your thoughts on that?
I suppose you've heard some stuff yet, but I'll let my words come out in the octagon. I'll go in there, I'll do my job, I'll put in my performance, and then I'll speak afterwards, and everyone will know then.
Fair enough. Who's going to be in your corner on Saturday night?
You'll find out on Saturday night.
He dodges the questions, but eventually he can't escape the talk. Later that day, Ian Garry finally addresses the split on Instagram. Just 10 days out of my world title fight, Team KF Martial Arts abruptly stepped down and they chose to no longer support me. I am therefore no longer part of that team. This shocks his fan base. Not only is the split unexpected due to fans thinking Garry was extremely close with his team, but also the timing. Garry made the split seem like the team abandoned him, but eventually, Team KF set the record straight on what happened. Some of the values that we openly promote are loyalty, honor, and respect. Where an individual no longer abides by these values, that individual will be informed that their position as a team member is untenable. With that in mind, Ian Garry was informed he was no longer a member of the club, after repeated warnings regarding his behavior to other teammates and his coaches. Following this statement, fans start connecting more dots between the cause of this sudden breakup between Garry and Team KF. Surprised his missus hasn't been on here defending him yet. Rumor was she caused the rift. I hope that they figure it out eventually, but it sounds like the poor lad's been Meghan Markled in the meantime. Although fans seem to name Ian Garry's partner as the reason for this sudden friction, Team KF said that it was a new employment of a manager in March that made him uncoachable. However, an article from Essentially Sports states that Garry's now wife became a key figure in his management around the time they started dating. If we re-watch Garry's interview with Severe MMA, something odd happens.
Possibly having left the team. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm going to interrupt 1 second.
I know.
What will it be like for you to not have that in the corner and not have that voice with you?
Dude, it's something again. Yeah, I know.
All evidence seems to point to this new partner of Ian Garry causing a change in his behavior and somehow controlling his actions and words. So who is this Mrs. that fans are talking about? And why does she have such a hold on Garry's actions?
She's beautiful and she's bringing a much needed flair to the presenting team. Please welcome Layla Lee.
ESPN FC's Layla Lee was with Paul Pogba today in Monaco.
This question is for Neymar Jr. Now, Emily.
Enter Layla Lee, a successful television presenter and content creator in the UK. She knows how to appeal to a mass audience, with her experience at established companies like ESPN and Sky Sports. Ian and Layla start dating in early 2021, as they had met through Layla being an interviewer for Cage Warriors at the time. Layla is the established media veteran, interviewing the young up-and-comer from Ireland. After Garry's departure from Team KF, he moves to Florida to join the team of renowned MMA coach Henri Hooft at Killcliff FC. Over the next 2 years, Garry starts to make a name for himself in the UFC. He wins his debut with a first-round knockout of Jordan Williams. By August of 2023, he racks up a 5-fight win streak. However, his next fight against Magny would uncover the unsettling truth about his now wife, Layla Machado Garry. In the build-up of the fight, Magny made a comment about Ian Garry needing a whooping since he was in Magny's eyes an untested rookie in the UFC. There's a part of me that's like, I need to go whoop this kid. Being a father, I'm kind of accustomed to giving whoopings now. I'm going to go out there and teach this kid a lesson. Most people understood what Magny meant by this, a correlation with disciplining a younger, inexperienced individual. However, Garry saw an opening to get in the head of Magny.
I think Neil was given a fucking mic yesterday, and he should sit up here on the stage and say nothing. We are tackling a very, very big fucking issue here, mate. Nobody, there is no fucking right to ever put your hand on a kid, ever discipline anything.
On the surface, this seemed like ordinary trash talk. However, it would later be revealed that at the time of this press conference, Magny was in a custody battle for his children. There were literally screenshots being taken of headlines and being used in court cases against me. It's not just selling a fight. You are literally affecting my personal life and my relationship with my children. This tasteless comment left a bad feeling on fans. In fact, this would motivate people to start looking deeper into Garry's life. Eventually, they found a goldmine. In 2012, Layla Lee released a small pamphlet/book called How to Be a Wag. WAG referring to the acronym Wives and Girlfriends of Famous Athletes. The book's introduction starts with, How to Be a Wag, the ultimate guide to catching the man of your dreams. The hot new career option is to be a wag. Throughout the 11-page book, Layla talks about themes such as stroking an athlete's ego to make him dependent on you, ensuring a long-term bond to secure financial ties, and keeping up with your physical appearance to not lose your position to a younger woman. Once confronted with the alarming book, Layla responded by assuring the public that the book was satirical and how it was making fun of the superficial football wife culture at the time. Unfortunately for Lee and Garry, the public didn't believe it.
Guys, I never talk about anybody's spouses, but this shit ain't right. Ian Garry, I remember when I met you, dude. It was in New York. But I remember thinking to myself, there ain't something right about that girl. Now I'm finding out you're 26, she's fucking 40, the ex-fucking husband lives with you, you took the last name, motherfucker, she wrote a book on how to be a wag.
All of this news threw the Garrys into a whirlwind of hate on the internet. Although both were receiving hate, Layla Lee was the one that took the brunt of it, and was blamed for embarrassing Ian Garry. At this point, it was clear that the main focus of Garry was protecting Layla Lee's image. What Garry didn't know was that UFC fighters would come out with a bombshell about his repeated actions towards his teammates. In mid-2023, rumors started to circulate that Garry was no longer training with Killcliff FC. Although there were no announcements from either side, Garry had been seen visiting and training at other gyms. One of these gyms was Team Renegade, the home of Leon Edwards. A headline would hit MMA news about Ian Garry being kicked out of Team Renegade's gym. In an interview with The Independent, Garry would state, "Leon and his head coach had an issue with me training on the mats and recently have asked me not to train there because Leon doesn't want any insecurities or doubts on his own mats within the gym, which I don't fully understand." This quote from Garry insinuated that Leon Edwards was scared of having a skilled and rising contender watching his training, as it could lead to him losing his belt. However, Garry was not telling the truth. In fact, this statement would start the downfall of his reputation as one of the worst teammates you could have in the gym. Leon Edwards would come out in an interview stating that what Garry said was all wrong.
So Ian Garry was a guy who trained here with you guys up until a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I believe he's kind of been told he can't come and train here now because he's in your weight division.
That's the reason he said.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't the reason. It was like when he comes in, he bring his camera with him, bring like his girlfriend with him. He's late to the sessions. There's a lot going on, you know. That's the third gym now he's been kicked off. There's a reason why.
Then Killcliff FC, the gym Garry had rose the UFC ranks with, came out of nowhere with the same sentiment from Edwards.
It's just an etiquette and a way of, I guess, morals that of where I come from, I guess. So when I see this guy just continuously talking, I just don't like it. I think he's very misled by the people that he surrounds himself with.
With more statements from Shavkat Rakhmonov and Vicente Luque talking about Garry's way of assimilating into a team, it became very clear what his method is. He's not trying to make friends. He's not trying to stick with one team till the end. He's the best fighter in the world, and he will do anything it takes to prove it. Garry ran out of doors to knock on in the English-speaking world. He decided to set up camp in a place he had briefly trained at before.
Fala minha família, você quer acompanhar pouquinho do meu treinamento aqui na Shootbox, corre pro canal da Shootbox, tá mais do que massa. Não só eu, mas como toda a família da Shootbox, fechou? Estamos esperando vocês. Hey!
The move to Shootbox wasn't desperate, it was calculated. Having trained there in the past, Garry already had a relationship with the gym, and with some of the best grappling talent in the world. It would be a gym that would help him become much more well-rounded as a fighter. With people criticizing Garry for his lack of loyalty to a team, he remained steadfast on his goal and method of reaching it. And the crazy part? He was right. Garry would go on to have fights against Michael Venom Page and Carlos Prates. These were supposed to be the moments where Garry was fraud-checked due to MVP and Prates being lethal and unorthodox strikers. Instead, he stifled MVP with the grappling he learned from Shootbox, and completely outstruck Carlos Prates. Fans were forced into a confusing position, respecting the violence while detesting the man. But for Garry, the respect is irrelevant. He doesn't need you to like him, he just needs you to watch him win. This all brings us back to this moment with Khamzat Chimaev. Ian Garry slaps Chimaev on the back not because he's happy to see him, but because in his mind, he is the center of the universe. He believes he is better than Khamzat and wants a moment to get internet clicks. He didn't leave Team KF because he was abandoned. He left because he only fended for himself. He didn't get kicked out of Team Renegade because he was misunderstood. He got kicked out because he viewed the World Champions Gym as his personal content studio. He uses people, he extracts their knowledge, their fame, and their patience, and when the well runs dry, he moves on. He has burned almost every bridge he has ever crossed, but he doesn't care, because he has no intention of ever walking back. Ian Garry is the #2 contender in the world. He is disliked by his colleagues. His personality is disliked by the fans, and he is perfectly fine with that.